Welcome back to another episode of our Dinner Party podcast. I'm Lindsay Jagger.
And I'm Keith Williams.
On today's episode, I've got archaeologists in Poland. Des Moines, Iowa kids finally get to trick or treat. Mother hires a hitman, the Menendez brothers, in their search for freedom, and down the hill.
Down the hill. That sounds intriguing.
Oh, yeah. Well, happy Halloween.
Yeah,
it's our first Halloween episode.
It is. And I'm scary looking.
Terrifying.
Yeah.
You know what I'm dressed as?
What?
Serial killer.
Oh.
They look like the rest of us.
Should I be worried?
No, it's just Halloween costume.
Oh, okay. Just pretend. Okay.
Well, first and foremost, I'm pretty excited about our sparkling ice because it's very, on point for today. It's candy themed.
It's candy themed. Oh, man. That's such a good idea. I didn't even think of that, but...
I thought you did it on purpose.
No.
I thought you brought Starburst because, Halloween trick-or-treating.
That's what I have.
Light it up, Keith. Tell me about this one.
Oh. We're going back to the strawberry. No, this is not strawberry.
No.
This is Starburst. Orange Starburst flavored. I mean, what does there say? It tastes like a liquid Starburst.
I love it. We're getting in our trick-or-treating early.
Yeah. I mean, why walk around in the rain when you can just drink it?
Pop open a sparkling ice.
Yeah.
I think we've talked about this before, but I'm a lemon Starburst person.
That's disgusting.
I don't know why, but citrus flavor. What is pink? That's not a real strawberry flavor. It's pink flavored, if anything.
But pink it tastes good.
I don't know. Well, we need to taste test through the sparkling ice. Get a pink sparkling ice, yellow sparkling ice. And then we'll decide. Are
you saying we should suicide all the Starburst flavors?
I wasn't getting there, but yes, I'm 100% onto that idea.
Yeah.
100% suicide. That's genius.
I like it.
But then also, how many Starburst flavors are there? Can you do that with the candy? Just have a giant wad of Starburst?
Oh, for sure.
Okay, I'm in.
Yeah. It's going to be hard to find them all. These are like unicorns, you know.
All right. Well, cheers to that.
Yeah.
We'll dress as unicorns next year. And
it's Halloween color.
It is.
Orange.
Dang,
man,
I wish I had worn black. Honestly, we clearly didn't try.
Good.
Love it.
I mean, I'm
a little Sunny D, tasty, which I love.
I'm a voter, by the way. I'm an American voter.
It's an on point costume next Tuesday. It's a big week for Indy. We've got Halloween today, Taylor Swift tomorrow through the weekend, and Tuesday's election day.
It is. So we went and early voted today, and these ladies behind us talked the entire 2 hours. And
wait, you were in line 2 hours to vote?
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever waited 2 hours. I don't think I've waited an hour to vote anywhere.
Every time.
I've lived in 3 states.
Every time we vote, it's at least 2 hours.
When do you go? Over lunch?
No, we went early in the morning. I go to. It doesn't matter what time of day I go. It's always 2 hours. Well, do
you think people hire extras and just put them in line so you have a vibe when you go? They're oh, Keith's coming. We better get all those people here.
Yeah.
You bring the party.
My wife did hold my spot for me while I was outside on a phone call with power company because they messed my bill up again. But the two ladies behind us today, just to tie it all in together, she was going on and on about her robot vacuum, how much she loved it.
Yeah.
She's like, I love her so much. She's like, this is where you can see where she's been. I can tell it to do this. I was like, okay. Guess what they named the vacuum?
Taylor Swift.
Close.
What was it?
Taylor Sweepy.
Taylor Sweep. It would be better if it was just Taylor Sweep, right?
Or Taylor. You could just named it Taylor
Swift. It's a Swift. Taylor Swifter?
Yeah, Taylor Swifter.
She was so close to being really good.
Yeah.
Taylor Sweep. If I haven't had, I don't own one. I feel like I need to get one because everybody's obsessed with them.
Oh yeah, I have one. It's great.
I need to get one. I think I'm gonna name it Taylor Sweet. I like that. Yeah.
Yeah, ours is named Schmidt from New Girl.
Yeah.
Because he's a clean freak.
Love that.
So he's Schmidt.
That's genius. Genius.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's get into our first topic today. This one's kind of crazy. Archaeologists in Poland reconstruct a vampire. This is from CBS News.
Oh, cool.
2 years ago, archaeologists in Poland made a discovery at a gravesite they could only describe as astonishing. The remains of a woman with a sickle around her neck and a triangular padlock on her foot, found in an unmarked cemetery in the village of Pine. I don't even know. The other option would be Peen. That can be right. But you know what? It's Poland, not America. So maybe. The 400-year-old woman was thought to be deemed a vampire, and those who buried her placed the farming tool across her throat. According to ancient beliefs, it was to prevent her from returning from the dead. Quoting one of the news agencies, it's really ironic in a way. These people burying her, they did everything they could in order to prevent her from coming back from the dead. We've done everything we can to bring her back to life. And sorry, I said that was quoted from a news agency, but that was quoted from one of the archaeologists to Reuters. Anyway.
So deep.
Right? And was like, no, that's so true, though. They were like, don't let this bitch come back. And they said, bring her back.
It's cool.
Anyway, there's a legend for this woman, actually. I guess she's kind of popular in the village. Oh. According to the legend, her name was Zofia, and she was buried only with a padlock. But when the villagers began experiencing some unexplainable bad luck, they decided they needed to take further action. They opened her grave, found the padlock opened, and in a great panic, placed the sharp blade of the sickle over her neck in case she would arise. This was apparently a popular thing to do during the vampire epidemic of the 1700s. And right when you thought COVID was bad, maybe a vampire epidemic could have felt worse.
What do you do then? Like,
I think you just had to take all of your sickles and put them around dead people's necks to ensure they don't come back. Also, how much bad luck and what kind of bad luck was this town experiencing that they deemed themselves to have an epidemic? Like a recordable one. They have a vampire epidemic. Do you think their town mayor stood up like all of our mayors did during COVID and they were like, listen, we have a vampire epidemic. We need you to take this seriously. Wear masks, carry garlic. Always keep a knife on you.
And the cross.
It's got to be silver too, straight silver knives. All right. Stay in your actually don't stay in your homes. They're gonna come in through the windows at night. So I don't know, not too many people in a room. They wear scarves because they're coming for your necks.
They can't come in unless they're invited in.
Oh, I didn't know that was a okay.
So don't invite.
I'm a terrible mayor. I'm like receiving information from the side of the stadium.
Yeah, you had bad information.
All right. Well. And that's probably how it went, actually, because I feel like that's how COVID went.
Yeah,
you got some bad information.
We played it.
Right. So the next time the mayor is up, she says, I was wrong. They can only be invited in. So stop inviting people into your houses. Stay in your houses. Yeah. Still carry silver, a cross, and garlic. Okay, thanks. Bye.
Yeah. And then she died.
For sure. And they were like, that bitch didn't know what she was doing. Not at all. It is but back to that quote where he said they did everything to prevent her from coming back, and we've done everything we can to bring her back to life. There are this is not the only country that experiences this. We see vampire burials kind of across the world. I don't know every I don't know, corner of the world, but certainly over Europe. I think it is really deep and kind of cool that it's we discovered these things and we have all this digital technology to bring show what she looks like. It is bizarre.
Cool. I do love that stuff. I almost went to college for archaeology.
Oh, that would be fun.
So that's what I like.
I think it would be cool to be on that archaeology team. I've seen an archaeology site. You can visit them and even on the East Coast. I was over at Plymouth Rock, whatever the Jamestown. That's our original settlement. And you can see them still working through that.
They're still trying to figure out what happened to all the settlers.
I mean, they starved and then they ate some of the people. Good old Sarah. She got ate. She's dead, but R.I.P. She was a bad one. But I just think it might be a little bit slow for me. Seems really cool, but this is also years in the making of, uncovering a fossil, like carefully like cleaning it. And then it's actually like, I don't know what the person behind the technology does that scans the skeleton and then like, I think they can find DNA out of bone marrow if it exists, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they can kind of figure out what the person would look like.
Yeah.
Like that's all like digital. So I don't know. I don't know if I'd be cut out for that world. I think it's incredibly cool. Like I love history, but I think archaeology is also a bit slower than what you want. Seems like people back in the 20s, though, in ancient Egypt, like that felt like it went really fast. I think I could be an archaeologist in ancient Egypt 20s when there were like no rules and you just like cracked open pyramids like a case of beer.
Yeah, and you just took all the treasure.
100%. You're like, doesn't matter if we break shit, take it out. There's a giant diamond. I'm rich. I'm out of here. I'm going to take this mummy with me because we're going to ground that up and make it tea because that's the thing for whatever reason.
What?
Yeah, they totally did that in the 30s. Yeah, they sold mummies. Like there were like lots of mummies. I think a lot of people got mummified in ancient Egypt.
Yeah.
Yeah, like more than like King Tut.
But people drank them?
Yeah.
That's weird.
I think there was supposed to be like, some herbal, very earthy taste, no doubt. Because that's a human body. Anyway, on to our next spooky news.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
For the first time in Des Moines, Iowa, kids finally get to go trick-or-treating. This comes from the Morning Brew.
They didn't trick or treat?
So, for the first time since 1938, children in Des Moines will get to go trick-or-treating on Halloween. In 1938, Iowa's capital banned trick-or-treating to crack down on vandalism. And since the kids of Des Moines have gone door to door in their costumes on the night before Halloween, which is known as Beggar's Night, they still kind of got to, join in the fun, but they didn't. They went on the 30th, not the 31st. This year, though, bad weather was forecast for Wednesday night, apparently the first time since 1938.
Wow.
Because for the first time since 1938, the officials decided to forego the tradition and allow kids in Des Moines to trick-or-treat with the rest of the country. So congrats to those kids. Making history.
That's the weirdest news ever.
Right? I don't understand.
It's the same thing, just a different night. They realized that's what they did, right?
100%. I don't know that just making it a different night actually cuts down on... I don't know that, like, kids who want to vandalize things are like, oh, well, it's just the 30th, so...
I don't think the kids...
They're not like, ugh, if only it was tomorrow, then I would toilet paper something, but it's not, so I guess I'll just sit here both days.
Yeah. It's weird. Iowa.
I mean, welcome to the Midwest, I guess. Also, fair, bad weather. We don't have great weather. I feel like Indiana's Halloween tradition is that it's gonna rain.
Yeah.
Or snow.
Yeah.
Because it could be super freaking cold or it could be, it's like 70 degrees right now, so it's great, but it's raining.
Yeah.
And we had blue skies for like the last 2 weeks, I swear.
Yeah, at least.
Right. And I just don't believe that Iowa had great weather every Halloween since 1938.
No.
So maybe, do you think they're like finally, slowly, they like looked for a reason to be like, hey, this is really dumb. Should we just like, start? They're like, oh, well, it's going to rain. Let's call it.
They wanted to just like fit in with the rest of the country.
100%.
Because they were growing up to be weird kids.
Children of the Corn.
Yeah.
They have their own scary movie.
That's true.
I mean, so does Texas, and that one's way worse. But Children of the Corn is literally, I mean, it's about the kids being
I've
weird.
never seen that movie.
Me either. I don't know what it's about. I know children come out of the corn,
kid,
right? Like, I don't know. But we can blame this law. Maybe that movie's about this law, and we just don't know.
Ooh, yeah.
We'll find out. If not, if you haven't seen it either, then trust us. Children of the Corn is about this law.
Yeah.
100%.
As far as I know.
Yeah. But congrats to the Iowa kids for making history. I do want to check in next year, though. I want to check in, and I want to know if Des Moines kids are trick-or-treating on Halloween like normal people.
I hope they just behave.
Yeah, don't mess it up for the rest of everyone.
Yeah.
What if their vandalism skyrockets tonight? They're like, we knew it. We knew it. Also, what happened in 1937?
They're gonna
like. I want to know what went down in 1937. When did Halloween even start? I thought that was like
I don't know.
Not even a thing until like I don't know.
Huh?
Did we bring it back from World War II? I don't know when we started. We've got to do more research before we have podcasts. I'm sorry.
No, I think it's great to just talk about things and not know anything about them and just make up your own facts.
No, I'm just making fun of us. But
No, yeah.
yeah, make up our own facts.
Yeah.
Because we are the PR desk of Boeing.
Right.
So we can do anything we want.
Yeah.
This requires a follow-up, though, hands down. And I'm going to figure out what happened in 1937 in Des Moines, Iowa on October 31st.
It could be a whole season of podcasts.
I'm going to do...
where we travel to Iowa.
It's just us being like, what do you know
Yeah.
about October 31st,
We go-
1937?
we go to,
Because
like,
it made a weird law.
The smallest Des Moines, Iowa, like breakfast spots.
100%.
And we interview the people there.
I have actually been to an excellent breakfast diner in Des Moines, Iowa.
You should have asked.
I didn't know. By the way, they had a flight of mimosas, delicious.
Oh.
And like just great waffles. Big
Okay.
fan. Big fan. So I'm down. This is gonna be a follow-up. I'm gonna figure out what happened in 1937 to the vandalism. The vandalism must have been out of control.
We've come full circle. We're now a true crime podcast.
100%. We're here.
Yes.
Ashley Flowers, look out. Here we come. Either that or like, because also it's the 30s. So some people were like running alcohol. Like we're about to get into
Bootlegging.
we're actually going to end up in the mafia by the time we're done.
If it happens,
You know,
we got to get the answers.
we got to get the answers. And if we end up 6 foot under, bring us back. Tell the Polish archaeologists to bring
Yeah.
us back in 400 years. And at least we'll have this on record, so they'll know why we're dead.
Yeah.
They'll be like, why the cement shoes?
Well,
Not because of vampires.
they were
I'll tell you
asking too
that.
many questions about Halloween.
1937 came back to get him. Next topic. Let's go. A mother in Atlanta hired a hitman to off her husband.
Oh.
Here we go. A Georgia mother accused of hiring a hitman to kill her estranged husband is back behind bars in the Bahamas. A judge revoked the bail for Lindsay Shiver and one of her alleged accomplices after they spoke to Good Morning America. So this case is actually kind of old. In 2023, police arrested Shiver, then boyfriend Terrence Bethel, and his friend Farron Newbold for plotting to kill her now estranged husband, Robert Shiver. The Shivers met in college at Auburn University. Robert briefly played in the NFL with the Atlanta Falcons. The couple had been going through a divorce and had a confrontation outside their Georgia home weeks before the arrest. In an interview with ABC News earlier this month, Bethel said they never planned on killing anyone. No, nobody ever wanted him dead. I'm definitely not guilty of conspiracy to commit murder, and Phalo is not guilty of being a hired hitman either. However, a judge recently caught their interview on Good Morning America and said, having reviewed the Good Morning America interview, this court is of the view that this is a blatant disregard for the court's leniency and indulgence. This cannot and will not be tolerated. That came from Justice Cheryl Grant Thompson. P.S. If you kind of caught this news story last year, Robert Shiver started dating reality star Savannah Chrisley, which I believe that shows on Bravo. Her parents are in jail for fraud, but she basically like tweeted that he was too hot to die and just like shot her shot, and they're dating now. So he's great. He's not dead.
Okay.
But the wife is mad crazy.
I wasn't going to hire anybody to kill her. I was just wanting to talk to somebody about it.
I just needed to tell my boyfriend and his friend hypotheticals of like, what if, because I'm pretty sure like she's arrested in the Bahamas. I don't know if she was there on vacation and like the plot took place in Atlanta, or if she had like brought him to the Bahamas to kill him there. Because that seems too smart for someone like this. But it got a lot of attention when it first came out because it was a foiled plot. Obviously, they saved this guy. They had to go tell him, though, like, hey, your wife is potentially attempting to have you murdered.
You were going to have a scuba accident in the Bahamas.
100%. A shark attack.
Yeah.
That somehow There were no sharks around for.
Motorized shark.
Yeah. It looks like the Jaws robot.
Big shark.
100%. Also, if you haven't seen Savannah Chrisley, she's hot. Like, he did really good for himself. This worked out well for him. Not that, like, listen, I mean, his ex-wife was trash. She's a potential murderer. I don't need to call her pretty, so I won't comment on that.
Okay.
But Savannah Chrisley's hot. So all's well that ends well in Robert Shiver's world.
Okay. Good for good old Bob.
What would you do if you found out that Jess had, like, hired for murder? Would you also hire for murder?
No.
I think I would be crazy enough to get back at someone like that. I'd be like, you hired someone to murder me? And then I'd, like, try to also rally a friend and be like, he failed, but we might succeed.
Oh. I don't know what I would do. Maybe, like, what did I do to push her over the edge? One too many, like...
You're too nice of a person to look back at yourself and say, how did I get here?
It's too many bad jokes, probably.
Too many bad jokes.
She can't handle them.
I want to know what well, I guess she hasn't come out. It'll be interesting to follow this case just to see if she ever admits, like, why she went there. Because obviously they had quite a bit of evidence to get to the point of arrest. So regardless of her saying, no, we weren't going to kill anybody, you then certainly talked a lot about death. Like, you talked a lot about death. If the cops were like, hey, feels like you actually meant to murder this someone. Seemed like you had to have taken actionable steps for something to happen.
He should have just called Liam Neeson to save him. But he didn't need to.
A particular set of skills that will get you arrested. But your husband will date a reality star.
That's the punishment.
That is the punishment. She's not going to go to jail. Her ex-husband is just going to date Savannah Chrisley for the rest of her life. I love it. All right, on to another set of jailbirds, very popular ones, the Menendez brothers.
Oh, yeah.
Are you familiar? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So the Los Angeles District Attorney, George Gascon, I don't know how to say his name, supports the clemency request for Lyle and Eric Menendez, who have spent 3 decades in prison, per Newsweek. He said, I strongly support clemency for Eric and Lyle Menendez, who are currently serving sentences of life without possibility of parole. They have respectively served 34 years and have continued their educations and worked to create new programs to support the rehabilitation of fellow inmates. That came from District Attorney Gascon again. This all is coming back to a head after the Netflix movie Monsters came out, which retold the brothers' abusive upbringing and arrest for the murder of their parents. Now, what they're asking for is clemency, and that is an act of leniency or mercy granted by a government official, usually a governor. So California, that's Governor Newsom, to reduce or eliminate someone's punishment. It can take different forms, such as a pardon, which forgives a crime, a commutation, which reduces a sentence, or a reprieve, which temporarily delays punishment. There are also other couple paths forward that I didn't write down. But my question for you is, they did, in fact, murder their parents. They also were for sure abused. Should they be set free? 34 years. How do you feel?
I feel like 34 years. I think you've done your time.
You've lived it.
Yeah.
I think I agree with that. It is pretty brutal to point blank. I mean, they shot their parents in the house. The cops didn't come, so they were able to kind of pretend like somebody else broke into their Beverly Hills home and shot them. And then they went on like a spending spree, which seemed to be kind of a celebration of freedom. But I also can't imagine being brought up in both like sexually, physically, mentally abusive household. I would have to think it did feel like freedom. Mm-hmm. Like in those, I don't know how long they were free before the cops kind of caught on that they did it.
They were, to them, that felt like maybe the only way to stop the abuse.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, unless they want to like round it up to a nice even number at 35, and then let them out.
34 is an even number.
I know, but like,
yeah, like
yeah,
35 feels like you did some time for sure.
That's a long time to be in jail.
It would be bizarre to be free after that. Like,
oh, for sure.
And are they poor? I mean, they were really rich and they inherited all their parents' money. Did the state get to take that? If this gets overturned, do they get money back? Has their money been sitting in a bank account? They're going to be so disappointed in the prices of things and inflation because they went away in like the early 90s, right? Like, they're the same. Oh, damn. They went to prison when I was born. Shit. They've been in prison my whole life. I just realized that.
Yeah.
Dang.
So imagine being in jail that whole time.
Oh, my gosh. I've got to meet them. Been like, so I've had a whole life.
Maybe they know about the 1937 Halloween.
I should ask them. They for sure have had time to figure that out.
They might not have been born yet.
No, but they probably know. They've had 34 years to figure it out.
Somebody in jail told them.
We're looking for sources.
Yeah.
We need sources. You have them. One of you have them. They've been separated. They can't, I don't think they've been able to be, because they were accomplices. You cannot go to jail with your accomplice. Huh. So also just probably somewhat heartwarming, emotionally draining reunion would be in store for them. Not that they haven't talked. I don't know if they haven't seen each other at all, but I mean, they haven't been living together. But what a wild, if they get all that money back, so they they get out of jail, they become rich again. I don't know where their family is. I'm sure that Beverly Hills mansion is long gone, but they're going to be so mad at the prices.
Do we know?
They went in, gas was probably 25 cents when they went into prison. And now it's $4. Are you kidding me?
Do we know when this is supposed to be ruled on?
So this is supposed to be found out before the holidays. So Christmas is what they were marking. They're looking at December 11th to know what will be of them.
Okay.
So
interesting.
The life they could lead. I just want to know if they, you get out of prison and you just get to be, rich again. And
I wonder if they get any of the royalties for, any of the shows.
I would hope so. I would hope that they were the ones signing off on, because there's been quite a few documentaries and different things done about them. But I don't know, because they're gonna write a book and be rich regardless.
Because what's it
called?
There's
no way they don't get a book deal when they get out of prison.
Because they have to have money to buy stuff. What's that? That's with a C. Commissary.
Like compensation.
Yeah, so the commissary is what they use to buy stuff in jail.
But I think, I genuinely think there has to be money for them coming out. They do have family that backs them. Okay. So I think there'd probably be family. But also just coming back into society, even if you are a good person after being treated like a criminal for so long, there's almost too much freedom. It would be, that's why I think I'm interested in the money part of this, is because that is then even so much more freedom because you have a lot of financial freedom.
Yeah.
Again, just a lot of price changes. That'll be, I think, the biggest loss for them. Going to come out and everything's going to be so expensive.
It's going to be interesting.
Maybe their parents were rich, but if the money's just been sitting there, I guess they've got interest. I guess money is money. I don't know.
True.
But that would obviously, they'd be better suited for rejoining society, being that they wouldn't have to start with nothing.
Yeah.
And they have some family that supports them, and they for sure have a book deal. And let's be honest, I would say full-blown feature film off of that book. I think people have really found their story interesting, which sounds sick, but I think because of there's a lot of confusion around the abuse. It's back in the 90s, they didn't necessarily weigh that. They were boys can't be hurt quite like that. There was a sexual abuse from their father. They just didn't really weigh the, psychological effect of all the kind of torture they grew up with. And so much came out on stand. And I just think, in a really sick way, it made the public super interested in them. And this is, been a story that's definitely been popular. That's why the Netflix movie, whatever, little series came out, because it still interests people.
Just came out, so yeah. Interesting timing on that.
Interesting timing, but it could lead to their freedom. So we'll look forward to December 11th and whatever comes after that, because That will be a wild. I mean, I hope they do get out also, for sure. Down the hill. This from the Indy Star. Jurors in the Delphi double murder trial heard from prison psychologists who testified Wednesday that Richard Allen confessed to her multiple times about killing Abby Williams and Libby German while he was on suicide watch at the Westville Correctional Facility. Allen confessed after acting out by trying to flush a Bible and eat his own feces. The psychologist, I know. Like, also, like, I mean, they explicitly said, like,
he's acting out. He's flushing a Bible. He's acting out.
Well, they said that he, like, so those are my words, like, acting out. But the Indy Star article, I don't know if they were quoting it. Oh, there's a train. Yeah. Time to eat.
Yeah, I could hear it coming. I already started.
What jelly bean flavor did you get? I'm taking red because the red are safe.
I got a green one, like that.
But the dark one's scary.
I didn't touch the dark one.
No, I think we're getting too good at this.
Yeah.
I got cinnamon, and that was really good. I love cinnamon.
Like that? It looks like
the gray
concrete.
Well, it probably tastes like rock.
Yum.
I'm afraid to eat the gray. I can't do it. Okay, I'm gonna go with this yellow one with white spots.
That red was not cinnamon.
Oh. I just got lemon. It's really good.
Good for you. Getting cinnamon and lemon.
Last time I had really nasty flavors and I made a lot of mouth sounds for everyone at home.
Let's try this gray guy. Looks like the floor. You know what it looks like?
A rock.
Those garages with the epoxy floors.
Well, my parents have one of those. That's 100%
That's what it looks like. Oh. That's pepper.
Oh, that's not bad.
No.
No, that's way scarier.
Tastes like I just put a bunch of pepper in my mouth.
I don't hate that.
I don't either. They thought they got me.
I did another bright red, and it's just cherry. You know, every flavor beans, we're going to run out of them eventually.
We will.
But I think also what's bound to happen first is we're just going to be left with all the nasty flavors. I think when we get to that point, we can come up with something new to do when the train comes.
Yeah, we can. We'll think of something.
We'll chug beers.
Oh, I got the good idea. I'll bring it next week.
What is it? Are you going to surprise us, or you want to share?
I got a good deal. I was at this liquor store in Texas.
I love when you get a good deal.
And they had the best bourbon selection I've ever seen.
Texas.
And this dude was trying to sell me stuff, and I was like, nah, I can't bring home another bottle. My wife would get mad. So he's like, well, how about this bottle of mezcal? It's only $6. I said, well, all right.
Which controversial. Mezcal is controversial.
Yeah, it is. I've heard.
Yeah.
Because I looked it up. It's a normally like $50 bottle of mezcal, and they're selling it for $5.99.
That's crazy.
It's on wholesale. This liquor store, they do this all the time. They like get great deals from their supplier or their distributor. Like last time I was down there, 6 packs of the ranch water.
Yeah.
$2.99.
Crazy.
Yeah. So,
Texas is my favorite state that I've ever lived in.
Really?
It just feels a little bit more like loosey-goosey.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just feels crazy.
So I was like, $6, I'll buy the bottle of mezcal. It's like Despacio.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I feel like every once in a while, something just like wild would happen in Texas. Just like weird things or like things that make sense, but like don't happen anywhere else. Like back to school, there's like a no sales tax weekend.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it like goes across things that like definitely don't have to do with going back to school, and you can take part in it.
That's cool.
It is cool, but it just feels so random. Like one day I just was like out shopping in August, and the woman was like, "Oh, don't buy this now. Come back next weekend when there's no tax." And I was like, "What are you talking about?" She's like, "Yeah, no sales tax weekend for back to school." I was like, "Oh, okay. Like, yeah, that makes total sense. I will see you next weekend."
That's
but
when
it was
you
like,
go buy cars.
Yeah. Well, in Texas, if you already if you buy a car in Texas, when you go to buy another one, you don't have to pay the sales tax.
Huh.
It just like rolls over.
Yeah.
I know.
Rolled over.
It's just Texas. Woo! Or yeehaw.
Yeah.
I don't know. I love it. Anyway, back to this down the hill, this Delphi double murder. So backing up, they basically said that he was purposely acting strange. So he chose to eat his feces. They know he is not crazy. So how desperate do you have to be that you're like, I'm just gonna do it. I'm gonna eat shit.
No.
Yeah, I know.
No.
I know. But the psychologist is a main witness because she has firsthand knowledge of his mental state.
But I do have a question for him.
About eating his feces?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did it taste like?
Oh, gross. Gross. I don't want to know. It probably, if the description is shit, would you be mad?
Yeah, I would be.
Like, no. What'd you eat that day and what it tastes like?
Well, obviously, dude.
What'd you eat that week, I guess? Like, who knows? He could have been backed up.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay, so she's talking about, like, he'd acted weird. Like, they knew that he was not crazy. He wasn't just, like, flushing the Bible because whatever. I don't know that crazy people flush the Bible.
Yeah, that's
you know what I mean. You almost like showed like too much cognitive activity on that one.
I mean, that's like rural Indiana for you. Oh, he flushed the Bible. That's crazy.
So anyway, this psychologist, he's confessed to her that he did it. He's also flushed a Bible, ate a shit. She's a main witness. However, she admitted that she followed the case closely on her own time. So a little true crime expert here. And she even used her access to the prison database to find out things.
Oh, man, that's so cool. She's
got inside baseball knowledge.
It's like a TV show.
So basically, though, it's like she's saying, well, he told me he did it, but then they're questioning her, like, validity, which this has happened throughout this case. I mean, people have been, like, recused and reinstated and like a lot of random things. We haven't handled this well. Like whatever court people are involved, I don't know who's a good guy and who's a bad guy anymore. But Alan is facing 2 counts of murder and kidnapping. The little girls were found with their throats slit in 2017. Luckily, one of the girls used her cell phone to try and record their abductor, which is where we get this grainy video recording of a man saying down the hill. Supposedly the girls were forced to walk down a hill at gunpoint. Then their throats, of course, were slit. Bodies were discovered later. Alan's defense team, though, has alleged that Abby and Libby were killed by Odinists, members of a pagan Norse religion hijacked by white nationalists during a sacrificial ritual in the woods. So my question to you, is it the cult in the woods or the creepy guy?
What okay, we're gonna roll.
Do you want me to say it one more time? So there's the guy that's admitting to killing them that was involved. He worked at like a CVS pharmacy and I think was involved in drug trade. So it's either that guy, the guy that's eating his feces and flushing Bibles, or it's the Odinists, who's a pagan Norse religion. But they've been hijacked by white nationalists, and this was during a sacrificial ritual in the woods.
Well, somebody needs to go save the pagan Norse guys from the white nationalists.
That's true. We have such a problem here. Has anyone looked into that?
Yeah.
I don't know that the pagan Norse religion is bad, because like who brought the sacrificial ritual to the woods? The white nationalists or the pagan Norse people?
If the Odinist thing turns out to be
real,
true, what in the world?
It's just never the cult in the woods. Do you know what I mean? Like this happens so many times in true crime because I went through a phase of being really into true crime.
Yeah.
And it just feels like so many times people are like, cult in the woods. Girl's dead because she joined that cult and they were in the woods. She's never murdered by the cult in the woods. She's always murdered by the creepy guy. It's 100% always the creepy guy. Like, I don't know what pagan cult originally killed someone in the woods, but it feels like it's been a while.
Part of the Odinists, though.
Ooh, yeah, because he is definitely bald and white. Those are definitely
he fits the description.
White. Nah, they're like outing him without telling us.
Yeah.
They're like half-truthing it. They're like, the girls were taken from us by white nationalists. Wink, wink.
Yeah.
Robert Allen is a white nationalist.
Oh, is that his name?
That is his name. Robert Allen, I believe. Richard Allen. I'm
Richard.
sorry. He doesn't deserve to have a name. Because I'm pretty sure he did it. I don't actually know that. I'll be honest. This case has been really confusing where they made him seem honest. And it's super crazy to flush a Bible and eat your own shit.
Yeah. It is.
I can see a guilty person doing that. I could see an innocent person trying anything to make themselves look. I don't know, though. If you're innocent, do you act crazy? I wouldn't act crazy if I'm innocent. Because I'd be like, no, I'm innocent.
I would act normal.
Yeah, so he did it. No, because only the guilty people act freaking crazy to try and get a lighter sentence. He knows he's about to get sentenced.
He was going for the insane plea. Then when that didn't stick, he was like, well, it was the cults.
Yeah.
Good thing it wasn't our cult.
Yeah, we just like shrimp Jesus.
Yeah,
we're not doing any rituals and we don't even go in the woods.
We are not violent.
We are not violent. We don't hang out in woods.
But that guy, he hangs out in woods.
He did. He's for sure hanging out in woods. But just like, what a wild defense. Like, as a lawyer, you're sitting there and you're like, all right, what do we do? What are we thinking? And like,
do you think
did they do the research? Like, they asked around Delphi and they were like, hey, what's going on? And like, Martha was like, have you talked to Debbie? Because there's some Odinists. And bad news, the white nationalists showed up, and those two groups got together. Like, there's some shady shit going on in the woods.
I'm curious to know what his lawyers found out.
I need one person to take the stand that knows about the Odinists.
Yeah, I want to see some evidence that
Becky.
This is, a thing.
Becky, tell me all about it.
So whose turn is it right now? Is it the prosecutor still?
I have no idea whose turn it is. I just got so caught off guard that we suddenly took the steep turn to blame a cult that I was caught off guard by everything else.
Remember when everybody watched the Johnny Depp trial?
Oh, yeah.
That was crazy.
Every other day it was like, he's awful. She's awful.
Yeah.
No.
What a time.
What a time to be alive.
Yeah.
Colton Woods. Look out. Because, listen, I don't think the cult did it. That's not to say they aren't a problem, though.
Could be.
If they got Colton Woods doing things, we should certainly look into that. Clean that shit up.
Yeah.
For sure, arrest all the white nationalists.
Yeah.
Not okay. Again, not against pagan Norse religions, as long as they aren't sacrificing people in the woods.
Right.
And this creepy guy is guilty. I think guilty. Well, at least white nationalists and creepy guy guilty. Pagan Norse religion, yet to be determined. Final answer.
Final answer. Because Odin is like some big Norse guy.
I mean, 'tis a Norse religion, so yeah, that makes sense. Checks out.
They're like, Odin is their
dude.
Their god guy.
Yep. But maybe not if the white nationalists have taken over. So
yeah, that's true.
I don't know where they're at on anything. We haven't heard from them. So, all right. Time for nightcap.
Yeah. So strange that you talked about archaeology because I was going to talk about that too.
Perfect. Let's round robin it. Bring us back to the top.
So Petra, Petra in Jordan, the.
Oh, wait. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Mega continent, right? No?
Huh?
What are you talking about?
The carving into the side of the cliff.
Ah, Petra. Okay. The city.
Yes.
Yes.
With the.
What's the like, when all of the continents were together? What was that? Pangea. Okay. Yeah. I was close. It's P name.
Yeah. So Petra, from what I understood, I watched this show. This show that I watched, Expedition Unknown, right?
Okay.
On Discovery. Usually it's
I love the things you watch.
It's normally nonsense. Like, he never finds anything.
I mean, I don't know. Did he find a pagan Norse religion in the woods that was taken over by white nationalists?
I don't think he's looked.
Okay, well, not so crazy yet, then, is he? All right.
He always does these things, and he never really finds anything. But this one, they invited him to go to Petra because they got permission to dig. New LiDAR came through.
Okay.
And it showed that there was stuff where, if you're looking at a picture of Petra, there's all that just flat land in front of it.
Sure.
LiDAR showed that there was things underneath that, and they never knew that before.
Interesting.
So they got permission to dig, and they found a chamber, and they showed him uncovering it for the first time. They went in there.
That guy had to have been so excited. He was
yeah.
Right when I wasn't getting that renewal, finally found something.
They invited him to come, and they moved the stones, went inside, just skeletons everywhere.
Oh, it's giant burial.
Yeah. So that was kind of cool. That was a new episode. So that probably just happened
a few months ago, right?
Yeah.
I would guess. I don't know what their turnaround schedule is.
Right. So I thought that was pretty neat.
So they'll be reconstructing those faces. We'll find out if there are any vampires there.
Yeah, I think they were trying to decide because there wasn't. From what I understand, they don't really know much about the Petra. I can't remember what they call that thing. They don't really know much about it. So they're hopefully going to learn more about these people from the skeletons.
I wonder if it is just a really important burial site.
We'll see, because
is it can you go back into Petra?
I think
or
you
is
can.
it just is it a facade?
It's like a facade, but I think it does go in.
So people were living in these really elaborate caves.
It's they called it something. They weren't using it to live in.
Interesting. Maybe a temple.
Maybe. Or something.
It will be interesting if they can, I don't know, find out anything from those skeletons, but then also maybe they're buried with stuff, and that would be really cool.
Yeah.
That would be amazing to actually finally figure out why that exists.
But can you just imagine being, an archaeologist you dig and you do this all day long, and then you finally find
something.
Something awesome.
Especially because we've known about that. I mean, for a while, obviously.
Oh yeah, Petra's been there
but we've lost the knowledge of why it's there.
And there's still the descendants, the people, they call themselves something because the people that live there used to be a whole nother civilization, and I think Rome or somebody.
Definitely Rome.
Put it into that.
That feels like such a Rome. Well, maybe Egypt. I guess it could have been Egypt.
Yeah, because it was I can't remember if it was BC. Might have been BC. 400 BC.
Definitely Egypt. Feels like such an Egypt thing to do.
Yeah, but it was pretty neat.
That's awesome. That'll be cool to see what comes out of that. We learn, I don't know, just unveiling mysteries. It's so strange that things we think are a mystery could one day just not be, and people will be like, oh, it's actually just a giant tomb for all these important kings.
I watch those all the time.
It could be something so simple.
When it's on TV or on Netflix, this new documentary about Egypt, and they discover new tombs and they open them. Those things are so interesting.
They just found a whole new thing underwater for Egypt too.
Underwater?
Yeah.
Really?
There's a female archaeologist that's been I think that's why that shows up on my feed. It's do you like women empowerment? Here's this archaeologist woman.
Okay.
Going underwater, finding maybe things about Cleopatra. I don't actually know.
Cool.
I'd have to do more paying attention on
more
that.
TikTok watching.
I'm gonna watch some TikToks, and I'm gonna pay attention this time.
Yeah.
All right.
Good.
Well, that's our show for today. We did it.
Yay.
Join us next time for another episode of our Dinner Party Podcast. Bye.
Spooky.